What's up, team? Jack here. Christine will be in and out. She's on baby duty right now. I am in my garage, which is about 100 degrees. Story time. How did we get this house? You're probably wondering, because I was in an apartment last video, and then all of a sudden I was in a house after selling 2 things on the Facebook Marketplace. Stand over here. This is our house. We were in an apartment complex. It was fine. It was comfortable. We liked it enough. We were on the top floor. Not the safest environment. There was a woman who, she had 3 Trans Ams and she would park them in all the guest spots. It had a lovely pool. It had a lovely workout room, which we totally tried to gain access to after we moved out, and they locked us out immediately after our lease was terminated. It was amazing. We felt like we were paying $3,000-$4,000 a month. That was just...
This sucks more than anything that has ever sucked before.
And not necessarily into a tangible investment. We wanted to make a move. We found a realtor that we liked. It was a friend of Christine's from way back in the day. She used to hike with her. Her name's Mariah. Mariah was amazing. We were casting a very wide net, and we weren't really happy with any of it, and never at any point was like pressuring us to make a sale. So thank you, Mariah. Thank you, Holly Thompson Homes. We really appreciate you. We looked at 20, 30 different places. We didn't like any of them. It brought us to some pretty weird spots. We looked at this one place out in West Lancaster, which was basically farmland, a mobile home. It had its own gas tank and water well reserve, which, you know, I'm from the San Fernando Valley. I don't really know anything about any of that, but I'm willing to learn. And I thought, you know, maybe Farmer Jack would be a fun new chapter. It was 45 minutes away from the nearest hospital, which is not great, especially if you're going to be working farmland. There was a cow on the property. I thought it was super cute until they told me that they were keeping it penned up so it wouldn't move because they didn't want it to lose weight, so that by the time, you know, they did what they needed to do, they would have more cow to eat. And that's kind of when I realized I didn't want to be a farmer anymore. We looked at a couple different apartments.
A neighborhood dispute is escalating in Santa Clarita. That's where a single mother has turned to social media to share what she describes as racial harassment and threats.
We landed on this one condo that we really liked. It hit all the parameters. Unfortunately, we couldn't bridge the gap on our own. So super thanks to my sister. She gave us a gift that was just enough to help us bridge the gap, make a down payment. We put an offer on this place. We inspected it. We basically took it through to the final step. Unfortunately, the HOA at this condo wasn't vibing. It was quite corrupt, and we couldn't find anyone that wanted to insure our purchase of this place based on the fact that the HOA seemed so poorly managed. It was in a high fire risk area. The insurance recommended coverage amount was $45 million, and this place was only covered for $5 million. Nobody would take us on for that loan. Unfortunately, the sale fell through. That was super sad. We got bummed out. We thought we had it in our hands, but that's okay. One door closes, another one opens, baby. And we opened it ourselves, because that's what we do. We made the door and we kicked it in. Yes, I am wearing pants in this garage. It's insane, right? We moved on. We kept our chin up. We started a couple new businesses, tried to get a commercial production company off the ground with Christine, in networking to try to drum up business for that company. Found my way to an old friend. He said, hey, I got a job coming up. Do you want to be a VFX coordinator on a Peacock show called Poker Face? The 2nd season's coming up.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Which in LA right now is pretty crazy. There's nothing happening in the film industry. And wouldn't you know it, in going to get a coffee with someone to try to find business for something else, I found, what is it? You can't always get what? So I found something that I needed, and I made another $90,000 in a year, which is amazing. Christine happened to have a pretty good year for her business too. So our income level shot right up, arguably artificially. I knew that the job that I got would end after a year, but that was enough to get us in the door. So now we put offers on 3 other houses. 4 other houses. I lost count of how many houses. I guess that's not that many. We found houses that we liked, that hit our parameters, that had yards, places for kids to grow, places for a young family to grow. We kept getting outbid. We got sad again. We found our current home. It was lovely. It wasn't perfect. but it was perfect for us.
You're a racist, Mom.
Getting the loan to close the deal was a whole different story. Word of advice, if you're trying to buy a home in Southern California, USA, I would not recommend going to a lender in California proper because they know what they have and they know what you need to make and you won't get a loan. So we found one in Illinois. They were like, yeah, sure, whatever. You want a house? Cool, here you go. For comparison, in California, there was one guy who said, yeah, I could get you into the house if you can just find another $80,000. Bro, that's what you're for. You're the lender. Help. Interest to full transparency, this house cost us $790,000, which, like, look at it, that's bonkers. We paid 10% down, about $80,000. Most real estate situations prefer if you could put something a little closer to 20% down, or like $160,000 USD, which is not something that we have. Mariah, Holly Thompson, they made it happen. They helped us out. They happen to know the other realtor. They had a good working relationship. We landed it, and here we are. We love it. It's a great place. I had to drain my entire 401k to pay for it. That's my retirement account. And I haven't been able to replenish it since, thinking, okay, well, at least if I have a house and I'm an 80-year-old man, I'll have a house that I can live in. We were in a predicament. We spent every last dime. We had to move. We were on the 3rd floor of this apartment complex and there was no elevator. We live in a part of the world where it's like 100 degrees every fucking day. What the fuck? So we got a U-Haul. I moved most everything myself. I found a strength inside that I didn't know I had, because in walking down these 3 flights of stairs with like 70 pounds worth of crap in my hands, and 3 or 4 times like, oh my God, that's it. That's all I can do. And then I found the strength to just do it 40 more times. There's a lesson in there, I guess. So we got here. We're in. We're enjoying it. We love it. And then we encountered what I'd like to call a couple of crap-tastrophes. First night in our home, the water heater broke. No hot water. We use hot water for a lot of stuff, as it might turn out. I didn't have a landlord to call. Christine's dad was asleep. And I YouTubed how to fix a water heater, and it's like actually kind of scary because if you do it wrong, you could blow up your house. And it was my first moment of being alone at 2 a.m. with no hot water, thinking to myself, how am I gonna do this? And you know what? I did it because I looked it up on YouTube. We fixed the hot water heater. It hasn't broken since. So that's one crap-tastrophe. Then, a couple days later, the HVAC broke. Now we're living in a home that doesn't have a lot of insulation and is blowing hot air through the vents. We are strangers in a strange land, so we called a bunch of places. We Googled, we Yelped, we called Next Gen Air. They seem great, they're buttoned up, they're wonderful. They wanted to charge us $25,000 to replace our HVAC unit. This lady came into our home and she said, oh man, this is gonna take a lot. Oh man, this electrical needs to go. You need all new vents. You need all new insulation. You need all new this and that and blah, 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 blah. And I need an answer today, because we're holding the unit for you. And if you don't give me this answer now, the unit is gonna go away. The condenser unit, the big square thing in the backyard or on the roof, that is the air conditioning thing. It's called a condenser. Anyway, I learned. Obviously, we didn't want to go $30,000 in debt to pay for cold air, so we went to another company, and same deal, about $20,000. Well, we went back to Mariah. We love you. Thank you so much. You put us in touch with Mark Wilmer's AC. Mark Wilmer's did the whole thing for $8,000. I have nothing but good things to say about Mark Wilmer's, except there was this one part where after it was installed, the next day it was making a weird noise and he sent another guy over, and this guy I let in sets a tool case down and he says,
all right, this is how this is gonna go.
I was sitting on the couch with my family and I was like, is my HVAC about to get repaired or am I about to be murdered? Otherwise, he was a lovely guy. As you can see, not murdered. Great. From there, we just had a couple of other crap-zasters. Problems. One of the repairs that was part of the HVAC situation was there was a pipe outside that had a hole that was leading into our house that they described as a rodent highway. Mark and his team plugged that hole. That was wonderful, except now we had a bunch of rats in our attic that didn't know how to get out. There was one night, I'm eating dinner, and all of a sudden I just hear scratching coming from the guest bathroom behind the wall. It's very clear that a rat has fallen into the wall and couldn't get out. And that was sad because eventually the scratching stopped, which was sad for two reasons because one, poor thing, but then also now we had a dead rat in our wall. Cool. So we had to call another guy. And he came by and he was real weird. He was like, oh, I specialize in dead things. I love the passion. He had to basically rip apart the wall to guess to see where the rat was. We knew based on where we heard it not be alive anymore, sort of generally where it was. And he said he pulled out like 4 or 5 mice and rats alike. So this had been a problem that was going on for a while. In buying this house from, let's call them the Smiths, I don't know why this was necessary that we learned it, but they had been separated and they were getting divorced and they were moving into a townhome to try to rekindle a spark. And I really hope that they made it work because they deserve happiness. They were sketchy people. Lovely because they gave us the home. They didn't give it to us. They definitely sold it to us for way more than it's worth. But they did a lot of things, I'd like to say about 70% of the way. They installed a lot of stuff that it's very clear they just gave up on halfway through. And then also, as we've been living here, we've gotten a lot of weird things that have come through the mail that leads me to believe that maybe they were like stealing people's identities. I don't know. We got people showing up asking if John Smith lived here. It's clearly like a process server, someone looking to sue Mr. John Smith. So that was cool. We've gotten mail for bank accounts that are like clearly not directed at the Smiths. So I'm like, did you open bank accounts in other people's names? When I went to go sign up for our trash service, I learned that they hadn't paid their trash bill in like 3 years, which I didn't even know is an option. I'm a rule follower. The Smiths left a lot of surprises for us. The lesson learned on our part is they said, hey, can we leave all this construction material for you? We looked at it after we said yes to that, and basically they just left us a pile of trash. Rotting wood and rotting stone that had been left out. They just didn't want to pay for a junk hauler to come move that all away, and I understand that, and they got us. We had about 1,000 pounds worth of crap, and I'm not even exaggerating. That's how junk haulers work. They charge you by the pound. Some of it included paint. You can't just throw paint out. You have to take that to a toxic waste disposal facility. So we had to do that over the course of a couple weeks because there's limits on how much you can recycle at a time. Also, have you ever seen garage doors like this? I was having a really bad day. I was frustrated with the house for some reason, and I came out and I tried to go to open the garage using this handle, and it just came right off because those things are magnetic. They're fake. If that isn't a metaphor, one of the things that we really wanted in looking for a home was we wanted land, room for our kids to play in the backyard. But that comes with a lot more work than I thought. A lot of the sprinklers don't work. There is an automatic sprinkler system that we paid for as part of the house, but it's not connected to any of the sprinklers. So that was cute. The Smiths, thanks for that.
I have no idea what is happening here.
Have you ever tried to get rid of a gopher? There have been some days where I get the lawn prim and proper and then I just see a huge mound of dirt out there. And the only thing I've really learned is that if you feed a gopher juicy fruit, it can't digest it and it'll expire because it's eaten something that it can't process, which is like, that just seems kind of cruel to me. And then also, then you just have a rotting animal in your yard. You know, it's like you can watch this old house as much as you want, but when it comes to doing it, it's like it's hard. But we're learning, and I like that about it. It's fun. It's been a process. Like honestly, I just feel like more of an adult the more I sit with this and the more I do it. Long story short, we got out of our renting situation, and we found ourselves out of the frying pan and into the fryer. And yes, now we are paying towards an investment that will be ours for life, but it's a little more expensive. We paid a steep price to now be able to talk to the people at the end of Costco who are like, hi, do you want solar for your home? I still lie to them and I still say I rent when I don't want to talk to them. Now I have become the people I hate, and whenever I have too much trash, I just go to that. I just go back to the old apartment complex and dump the trash because nobody will stop you. We got all these fixes we got to make. The job that I knew would end in a year ended after a year. Whoops! This house, the equity we've paid into it is definitely a poker chip that we can use to maybe, I don't know, move to a cheaper state, which I think is going to be our plan anyway, but we're going to do our best to gussy this place up and give it our all and not run away from it. Our burn rate is more than our grow rate. We're not making enough. I've been doing part-time work for my wife's bookkeeping firm. Now that I have more free time because I'm unemployed, I am going to take on more work, which means she doesn't have to pay her employees as much to do the same amount of work. We can keep the overhead. That's a tricky balance because we really like all of her employees that she has. And it's been a long road. We've hired maybe 12 people over the course of the 4 years that her business has been alive. It is really hard to find good help. You know what I mean? Yes, Daddy. Sorry. Employees are golden when you can find them and they work and they gel with you and they want to be part of your team. We have 3 people right now who we love dearly. We love them like family because they are aces. They know the material, they do it well, they hit their deadlines, they're respectful, they're great. Do you know how hard it is to find someone who could write an email? We have that now. And our problem is that we don't want to let any of the people who we have go, because then that will inhibit us from being able to scale Christine's business in the future. If we don't have this bank of employees where we can put all of our new clients. So what do? We come up with a plan.
Marvelous at planning, yeah. Now all that is left is for us to do the plan.
We decided to move some clients from some of our employees over to some other employees so that we could free some up while giving others a break from some of the harder clients. And we just figured it out. I feel like when you put all your problems down on paper, that's probably the best way to attack it. Now we just have to figure out the budgeting portion of it. All right, let's budget.
So I had this template from last year, so I highlighted the things that I think we need to update. The current salary for the both of us to do the current workload that we're doing is $80,000 a year to both.
That sucks.
It's too low. The other little snafu right now is I'm on disability and you are unemployed.
Our income has been slashed effectively in half.
In half starting a month ago. Yeah.
Now that's a lot of damage!
If you look at it right now, our monthly income is $74.70. That's so sad.
We're totally What's other income?
That's like if you make residuals, cameo.
Does anyone want a cameo?
Do you want me to yell at your dad? I'll do it!
Groceries, I put at $1,500 a month, and I honestly have no idea if that's like what we spend or not.
So that's part of budgeting, right?
Your SAG dues, I put at an average of $50 a month. So I put your SAG income at $50 a month and your dues at $50 a month. So you're making $0 from SAG.
What are we doing? Moving around furniture on the Titanic?
We have our mortgage, which is quite high. The one splurge I really don't want to let go is the cleaner. I'm sure we could make the time for anything, but it takes away from time to grow the business.
Have you ever tried to clean your house with a toddler? They don't do a very good job. They want to do everything, and they suck at it. And then there's crying, and then the dog attacks the broom.
When I was pregnant, we randomly decided to get a puppy, which was not smart. We have our life insurance, which I'm not going to let that go. Car insurance, we can't let that go. We live in a high risk fire area, so our fire insurance was like $3,300.
Thanks, Southern California.
I keep the electric high at $400 a month. We work from home. We're home all the time, and we have the AC running. Trash, it's like $100 a month. Pest control is $55, and that is a must.
You get hella crickets and black widows.
And I don't want ants.
All of our children are sticky.
The annual photo shoot, that is very important for family memories to me.
We should also maybe factor in the medical debt that we're going to have to pay off.
Nuggets. That leaves us with...
We took our kid out of daycare, and now my parents are watching our older daughter 3 days a week. So that's been very helpful.
We were paying $2,000 a month on daycare on top of our rent and then on top of our mortgage. And she gets one-on-one attention. IMDb Pro, do you still have it?
No.
Oh. Cross that one off.
Ooh, $20. Yeah. All right. It went back to the biography that my mom wrote for me when I was 12.
What's a vast?
I canceled that.
Ooh, $9 saved.
I guess it's probably not great to let the internet know that I let go of our antivirus software. Sorry, I'm just on the hub.
So right now we are at a deficit of $3,000 a month.
Yuck.
Our monthly costs are just so high that the amount of hustle you have to do to keep up with it feels impossible some days just to survive. There is good news. Really, the only option is...
Daddy?
No, the only option really is to grow the business, to make more income, to get our salary from $80K to like...
More than
200.
80. We have about 3 months to figure this out.
So by November 1st, we really need something going.
Why are you looking at me?
because it's scary.
On top of that, we had an issue. Christine had one client who stopped paying. That's a problem, because then we had to take him to small claims court for about $6,000. And let me tell you what I learned about suing someone. You're probably not going to get any of that money. In fact, you're probably going to spend more money on trying to sue them than you are going to actually retrieve. Christine paid a lawyer. We paid a process server to go serve this dude paperwork. There was a hilarious picture that they took of him. And then we took him to court, and he didn't show up, and we won the first time, which was great. But then he appealed it because he didn't like that. Then he tried to postpone it over and over again. Eventually, we won again. Now, we have a cool piece of paper from the court that says, this guy owes us $6,000. What do we do with that? Well, you can send it to a collections company. And basically, what the collections company is going to do is they're going to go to this guy and they're going to say,
You owe us $6,000.
and then he's going to say, cool, I can pay 600 of that. And then they're going to be like, cool. And then he's going to say, cool. And then they're going to be like, cool. And then they're going to give us like $60. We decided to find some new clients. Christine is an ace. She networked, she plugged, she figured it out, and she found a whale. A client that would promise to pay $5,000 to $7,000 a month. And then things took a bit of a turn. The more we interacted with this person, with this whale, we realized that they were showing us all the red flags of every bad client we've had in the past. They refused to come to terms with us on our contract. They kept bucking on our rate and asking if what they were getting would be truly worth it in the end. And if Christine and I have learned one thing in doing business, it's that you want the clients that just say, yeah, sure, cool. We see your value and we're going to pay that. And the more you have clients who want you to prove your value to them and who nitpick at your invoices and who look at you as if you're something that can be negotiated with, the more you are going to lose ground with them and the more you are going to lose money. We had our lawyer look at this contract, redline it, which means revise it to send back so that we could come to an agreement. This person had the audacity to say to us, oh, here's what your lawyer should be saying. And they tried to undercut our ability to know how to negotiate and protect ourselves. We decided not to proceed with that client, which was difficult. We've been in the situation before where we have to weigh whether the juice is going to be worth the squeeze. And in this case, every red flag came up. Also, if we had taken this person on, we wouldn't have been able to expand more because all of our time would be sunk on trying to keep them happy. We could just tell based on how they interacted and how they interacted with their staff that it wasn't going to be a good vibe. It was a hard choice, but I'm convinced still to this day that it was the right choice because it's opened up a lot of doors for us. So, we're stuck. No, we're not.
What a twist!
Christine, in addition to being a supermom, a perfect wife, a genius, she is a doer, my friend. I respect the hell out of her. She, just on a whim, looked at her network and looked at what she had available to her. So she worked for a real estate company. And she thought, how can I use what I have? She decided to get her notary. Turns out all you got to do is go online, pass a class, and boom, you're a notary. That means that whenever somebody has an official contract that they need signed, they need someone to serve as a witness of the signature to make sure that they're legit and their identity is confirmed and everything is above board with the law. It's a pretty easy job. You just have to go make sure people sign on the right line and that they're who they say they are. Christine had a very good idea to start a mobile notary and loan signing service to bridge that gap between using her network of realtors that she knows. Because right now, our bookkeeping business is very niche. It's wonderful, but it's limited because we can't really advertise broadly what we're doing. This is something that we can just go and plug, and there's 1,001 real estate offices and teams that need loan signing agents. And we are punctual. Here's the whole process that Christine had to do to start a business, sign up for her notary.
Here's how you start a business. You need to come up with a name. Jack came up with a name for this one called Pinnacle Signing Agents. Then you need to get a tax ID number with the IRS. It's called an EIN number. It's free. It's easy. It'll take you 2 seconds. After that, find your state website, file your articles of organization, file your statement of information. After that, I needed my certifications. I signed up to become a notary. I had to take a 6-hour online class. I had to schedule a test at a hotel. I went and took the test. I got my photos taken. I got my fingerprints taken. They background checked me.
Then I got my commission number. Once I got that, I had to take that to the county clerk, take an oath. Then I had to mail in a piece of paper that said I took the oath to the Secretary of State. And then once I got my seal,
I needed to make sure I had errors and omissions insurance. I needed a logo. I need to sign up for the loan signing agent certification, which is another 3-hour class. I need to build a website. We have to get contractors. Then we have to start contacting escrow offices to get some business going so that way we could get paid.
And what are we going to do? Easy. Now, all we have to do is hire people.
A lot of them can't spell, dude. Do you know how hard it is to find someone who could write an email?
We know this isn't our $1 million idea. This isn't the next big thing, but it might just be enough to help us bridge the gap to keep us afloat. So, you live in Southern California? Yeah. Oh my God, come on, no!